So I moved to Leicester for uni last year, and I noticed like all around the city they have loads of different types of street arts and graffiti that really gives the city a bit of character and a bit of colour. One of my favourites I think is this one behind me. It's called Smug, and it's by an Australian artist who has essentially depicted his friend in like really high quality photorealism. Like you'll turn the corner in the city and then you see that and it's like, oh wow, and it really grabs your attention. One of the main street arts that stands out in the city is this one here, which is called the Blue Tower, and it's now known as the tallest street art in Europe, I think, which kind of depicts kind of what Leicester's made of. So obviously you've got the fox at the top, which represents the football club, because you have fox as their mascot and representing their success. And then similarly at the bottom you've got the tiger in the same geometric pattern, which is for Leicester Tigers, the rugby team. And then if you can kind of see, they have a double helix, which is meant to represent work that's being done at Uni of Leicester to do with pioneering DNA fingerprinting, which is obviously quite interesting, and you might not know that about Leicester. And then there's also an astronaut there, which is obviously linking to the National Space Centre. Yeah, there's obviously like loads of street art around that's meant to associate with the football teams, the rugby teams, all in various different styles as well, which I think really shows like the people's dedication to their team. The rugby one's literally just down the road opposite the Welford Road Stadium. That's a slightly different style. It is realistic but not quite so, and that depicts some of their main players from histories and any tournaments they've won. I think it's quite interesting to see the two so close together, and like they obviously have different like connotations, where graffiti is illegal in any form, rather than a lot of the street arts around Leicester. The big ones are all commissioned, and they're two very different styles. Like we found a street next to St Margaret's bus station called Short Street, and I think the one side, which is part of an old boarded up car park, that is all commissioned, and interestingly the side opposite, which is the sides of the buildings, is actually, well, it's technically illegal, but you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two, I don't think. Like it is mainly graffiti, but I think it's quite an interesting street because it's obviously a place where people have used it as a form of expression, and there are small pieces down there which are more kind of artistic, edging towards the street art side of it, but are still graffiti. And I think the two obviously look the same, but one is illegal and one isn't. Yeah, but I think overall the street art really livens up the city and gives it a sense of character.